Hi, this is Gil Robles. I'm back, and I'm going to try to keep this commitment where I'm going to post a video every Friday. So I'm gonna do like a Friday night video thing, and this is a week after I posted the other video that I began to start using ArtRage a little bit more. I'm just taking a break from Sketchbook Pro, which is a terrific program. I use it all the time. But there are other programs and things that I want to try. So I had no idea where I was going with this. Um, I used it. There's on the brush palette over here, right to the bottom middle. There's a kind of do-it-yourself brush or whatever, a customizable brush. So I just played around with the presets on there, and I got this brush, and it got me to thinking. Said, hey, instead of doing the oils, let me try something different. So I went ahead and began this pastel painting, pastel drawing, whatever you would want to call it. But here it is. I started with that do-it-yourself kind of brush or customizable brush, and it gave this texture quality of a pastel. So I said, let me just continue on with that. So anyway, this is a portrait of my son from a photo reference I took a little while back, and just let me tell you, when I take these photos, one of the things that I like taking the photos myself that I'm going to use rather than getting something on the internet. First of all, it's safe. Second of all, I get to choose my subject, and third of all, I get to decide how it's going to be lighted. Which is very important to me because I think the lighting it helps carry the image. So I'm looking for something with a little bit more contrast in the dark to the light, like I have here. And I think initially what's intimidating, he had a great mop of hair, and so over in his forehead in the front, it just hung there. So there's a lot of breaks in between the strands of hair. So I was wondering how I was going to do that. So that remained a problem that I had to resolve while I worked on this painting. So anyway, but this is a start. Long before I get to that, it's a matter of going from big to little. And one thing I had someone remark about, and I mentioned this in the other video, that what happened to Sketchbook Pro and so forth. But you know what? I want to try different things, and regardless of what program you use, it comes down to drawing, your ability to draw and paint. You get the drawing right. And it doesn't matter if you use Photoshop, if you use Sketchbook Pro, if you use ArtRage, if you use Rebel, if you use Corel, so forth. It's a matter of getting your drawing right, getting your drawing right, and that's the first order of things. So it doesn't matter if you use traditional mediums. It's getting your drawing right. If you're like, I'm a representational painter. I paint realistically. I strive for realism. I don't strive for hyperrealism, but I strive for realism. So if that's a concern, then the first thing is not what program you use, or what medium you use, but regardless of the medium, the program, whatever, that you're drawing, you're painting. So it's a matter of getting the drawing right. It's a matter of working, excuse me, working from the big to the little. From the big masses to the little masses, not working in details and so forth. First, it's a matter of positioning the eyes, the nose, the features of the face, or or if you're working on a composition, getting the perspective right, and so forth. All these things are, regardless of what medium you use, whether it's digital, whether it's traditional, all these things are what's important first. Or, I mean, if you want to get into uh, your subject matter, of course that's important. But if you're a traditional painter and you're painting realistically, you're going to want to be concerned about these things because, of course, if you're portraying realism, all these things become important. So I say that to say, regardless of what medium I'm using, the same things become an issue. Now, every digital program has its perks. Some are very similar. Some are very different, or some offer some things that you can't find in others. And it's a good idea to go exploring within them. That I know there are some things in this program I am never going to use. These are little cutesy things, these stamp tools, or um, what is this, the glitter over here. Those things don't interest me, But the tools, the oil, the watercolor, the pencil. I'm not too crazy about the pencil in ArtRage. There are better programs for that, but the pastel seemed like a great thing here when I started using it. It was fun to use, and and a little bit easier than it was to use the oil brush. The oil brush I love using because not for its ease, but because it's for its effect, where you get juicy, that juicy brushstroke. And one of the tools that I think that is essential, regardless of what you're using, unless it's like the watercolor tool, but it's useful for both the oil and the pastel, is the palette knife. And I need that to smooth out the image, and that has helped because it has helped me make these transitions. It has helped me to from one color to the other, or one value to the other. It's helped me make those transitions. It's helped me to make corrections in the drawing and so forth. It has become a very valuable tool. So I hadn't used it before, and in Sketchbook Pro, I use the blur tool a lot. And you know what? Because you wanna you want to have some areas where you have crisp edges, and you want to have some areas where the edges fade. You want to blend in some areas, and you want some other areas to stand out. So this is a great tool. Um, so even as I'm speaking already, you can see I started blocking out the top of the head and laying in some strands of hair. Now my son had wanted to dye his hair green. That's the reason why he's a bit green on the top. We indulged him, and so there it is. But so I'm trying to get this mop of hair on top of him. There's green and some browns in there, and some darker colors. It was very, very fun to do, by the way. A little bit different, but a lot of fun. And one of the things that I had difficulty with when I'm working on is the eyes. How much to leave in, how much to pull back. Just don't want to overdo the eyes. Um, don't want to underdo them. Just trying to make it make sense within the whole. If that statement makes sense, because the head has to work as a unit. Nothing stands out too much or whatever. It works as one organic thing. Uh, Gee, it's early in the morning. I hope I'm making sense. But yeah, it's 4:53 in the morning, and I am painting, or I was painting. I'm recording now. I record this narration after I've already done the painting. So anyway, I really enjoyed doing this painting, and exploring the software this way. I didn't intend to use the pastels. I don't truly understand everything. That the thing that helped me get across is concentrating on this drawing. So you know what? Concentrating on the drawing, concentrating on getting it correct, and so forth, and using what I can do with the marks this tool leaves behind with what I know about drawing and painting. So, but as far as understanding the presets here, all I can do is read it and say, hey, let me try this or let me try that. Um, but it'll take a little while of getting used to. But being able to jump right in and just use the tools and use the program without worried about, kind of like learning on the job, not worried about making the mistakes, but thinking that, hey, whatever I do here, I'm going to learn on the job. Now, I did try. This is my second attempt at this. The first attempt, after about 2 hours worth of work, I just decided to delete the doggone thing, because I didn't like the way it came out, and to just start all over again. The great thing about doing that is that once you start it, even though you may look at it as a total failure, you would have already learned something. And so you would have already started thinking, well, how can I apply this to the next thing? Or maybe there's some things that's, hey, you know what, next time I'll try this and see if that works, you know, and which is what I'm doing here, and the second time worked a whole lot better. So the more you go at it, the better you'll get, the more familiar you'll be with the tools, and the more you think of things that you can try. And then, as you go on, there are things that I tried on the cuff, just figuring that it should be able to do this or that or the other. Um, so, but having failed at my first attempt made this a lot easier. And actually, I was very happy with the way this came out. Both with being able to use the tools as well as getting a likeness. This looks exactly like my son. So I was very happy with that. So now I'm at a stage where I'm just really touching everything up and making corrections. It's basically just about done. So this part, it's like I have to kind of decide at some point, when and where do I stop? Because it's mostly done. How much is just killing it, and how much is I just need to tweak it one more over here or over there, or see what I didn't pick up. But it's pretty much done from here. So in future videos, I'll go over what presets I have, and the things that I've learned. I'll return to Sketchbook Pro, and I'll also return to Rebel. I'll also use other software. And someone had asked in one of the comments of my other videos if I would use a Photoshop. I'll try that. I'm not into Photoshop. I like exploring these other programs, especially ones that are not so expensive. I think that just because they're not expensive, like ArtRage wasn't terribly expensive. Rebel wasn't expensive. They're all under $100. So I would give these things a shot to see what they can do. And so far, I've not been disappointed, especially with this program. Well, it's just about finished now. Yep, there you go. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave comments. Let me know what you think. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.